What's going on, everyone? So another San Antonio season, another opening night against the Dallas Mavericks. Seems like every year they're opening up against the Dallas Mavericks. And once again, Dallas handled business and really dominated and controlled that game start to finish. Dallas did Dallas things and kind of went how you expect Dallas to handle things. Luka was just special and impressive out there. He was 28 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Also, Luka is 4-0 against Wemby, for those that like to keep track of that stuff. Klay Thompson set like an opening night record for the Dallas Mavericks as far as three-pointers made, which he was 6 of 10, 7 of 13 from the field, 22 points, 7 rebounds. Now people are already like talking about how Klay Thompson is the greatest player in Dallas Mavericks history. We've seen him be incredibly hot and cold. Can he be consistent? Not saying he has to shoot 6-10 from 3, but can he be consistent shooting the 3 ball? Because, it's like 1 of 10, and then it's 5 of 10, and then 2 of 11, but speaking of the San Antonio Spurs, sticking with the San Antonio Spurs, they had their struggles. I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed in San Antonio. It's the first game, so, not really something to freak out about or something to like really get too concerned or weary about. Like, the expectation for San Antonio is not for them to be a championship level team. Like, this is what Dallas is supposed to do to a team like San Antonio, but I really don't want to say, like, San Antonio kind of looked like the same team that they have been. There were some better moments, there were some better things that went on, and like, I actually really like Champagnie in the starting lineup. I talked about that. I might actually do a video independently breaking him down. I actually really like his game and what he's brought to this team in preseason. I know I've seen a lot of Spurs fans be like, oh, he does that every year in preseason, and he's not, and then he doesn't do it in regular season. Well, game 1, he seemed to do it. Game 1, he gave you a solid 18 points on 7 of 12 from the floor and 4 of 8 from 3-point range with 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Oh yeah, by the way, 2 blocks, 1 steal. But Chris Paul shooting the basketball was not too great. Neither was Victor Wembanyama. And look, Chris Paul, he gave you 7 rebounds, which was nice, and he gave you 8 assists. So 1 of 6 from the floor, and then 1 of 4 from 3. You need to see a little more consistency in that regard. Defensively, San Antonio just as a whole defensively was just getting torched. It was not what you wanted to see, guys buying in. Like I said, couple nice defensive sequences. Harrison Barnes had a couple. Sohan actually had like a couple. Champagnie had a couple. But this wasn't the versatile defensive potential that you're hoping to see with San Antonio, with like a Champagnie and his size and his length and his athleticism. He's shown some promise on the defensive side, and then you pair that with Sohan and Wemby, and it's like, okay, you could see a version where this team could be at least decent defensively, and Dallas just kind of got whatever they wanted whenever they wanted it from Dallas. Also, you look, Spurs turnovers, 19 turnovers. It's terrible, especially with a Chris Paul-led team. Now, obviously, Chris Paul only had 2 of those turnovers, but still, like, you if you're gonna get 19 turnovers a game, you might as well just let Chris Paul handle every possession there is. Also, you can't be getting out-rebound by Dallas, especially with the offensive rebounds. I mean, they got outscored 17 or out-rebound 17-12 in the rebound department. Both teams had 5 blocks. Dallas had more steals at 9 compared to 6. Personal fouls, Dallas had more, and then they both had 0 technicals. But beyond that, Dallas was 19 of 44 from 3, where San Antonio was 12 of 36 from 3. Dallas actually shot worse overall from the field at 41%, but also got 16 more attempts. So, which, again, when you're giving up 5 more rebounds, that's not 5 more offensive rebounds. It's not a good look in that regard. But again, like I said, it's the first game, so you don't want to get too over the top. You don't want to get too take it for what it is. I get it, but again, like, I want to see San Antonio at least be competitive. You want to see Wemby, who, again, Wemby was a little bit disappointing, in my opinion. Right? Like, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. 4 turnovers is not good. You don't want to see the 4 turnovers. But he did a little bit of everything. Obviously, he didn't have that like crazy, he had 52 blocks, right? It wasn't anything like that. But it was more just like his lack of efficiency I hope starts to pick up and get better. I really don't like that he's taken 8 threes a game. I talked about this even last season, that he took 18 attempts total, and 8 of them were from 3. Almost half of his attempts were from 3. The guy is 12 feet tall with like a 42-foot wingspan. Why is he taking 8 threes a game? If he's hot, like let's say he started the game 3 for 3, right? Then fine, right? Keep going until you miss. But as soon as he misses 2 in a row, right? If he finished 6 for 8, then it's like, okay, I can understand, right? If you checked that he was 6 for 8 from 3, fine, that's justifiable. But 1 for 8, that means he just kept shooting, right? Like, and those are the things that I talked about, right? Like even with last season, and it's one of my concerns with Victor, and kind of the kind of the new wave of like, I love his versatility. I love that he has the ability to stretch the floor, but he needs to be a big man that on occasion can stretch the floor, rather than a guy that can stretch the floor that on occasion can go down on the block. Especially with Chris Paul. You should be running nonstop. You should be spamming pick and roll actions and lob actions where you're just getting Wemby headed downhill for Chris Paul to just lob it up. But here's the reason why, like, I have the issues, and I talked about this before, right? Like, so you look at somebody like Karl Anthony Towns. He last season averaged 5.3 attempts and shot 41.6%. It's a big man, Karl Anthony Towns. 5.3 attempts per game on 41.6%. And that was a third of his total field goals, right? 5.3 compared to 15.3. Okay, well, now let's look at Victor Wembanyama, right? In Wemby's first year, he averaged 5.5 attempts, so slightly more, but we'll be nice, just say 5 attempts each. So they both averaged 5 attempts. Wemby averaged 16.7 field goal attempts. So he actually averaged, basically one more attempt than Cat did. Okay, fine. Well, Wemby shot 32.5% from 3. So Wemby's shooting 5 threes a game, same number as Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is almost 10% better. Like, I'm not saying Wemby shouldn't be shooting threes at all. I'm not saying you don't want to utilize him to stretch the floor, because you do to an extent. Right? You want to have Wemby be that versatile big man that can do a little bit of everything out there. But, he shouldn't be taking half of those 10. Again, he's averaged 5 attempts a game, which means he had games where he shot 8. He had games where he shot 3 or 4. If he wants to shoot, say, 3 threes a game on average, 4 threes a game on average, sure. Right? But, I mean, again, the reason he's such a unicorn is his ability to take guys off the dribble, to score and shoot from pretty much anywhere. I don't want to see him develop and turn into just a spot-up three-point shooter who isn't very efficient. If he was 40%, or let's not even say 40%. If he was 38%, 37%, then fine. But he's not. The guy's 32%, and in the first game of the season, he just jacked up a bunch of threes. Literally half of his attempts were threes. That's not what I want to see from Wemby. That's not going to be the best version of San Antonio, is Victor Wembanyama basically being a shooting guard. You need to have Chris Paul and Victor. Like, Chris Paul should be averaging 10 assists a game, at least, because he should be getting 5 or 6 a game just to Wemby. Right? Literally. Wemby is such, throw it up. Make somebody go beat Wemby to the ball. Good luck. Like, who's out jumping Victor Wembanyama to go get a lob? No one's long enough. No one's tall enough. And then Wemby still has athleticism, so he can still get up. It's not like he's flat-footed where he's just got to stand there. No, like, literally throw it up and let him go get it. Let him bring it home. Right? But I want to see better utilization of Wemby is my thing. I understand we're in the new NBA and it's everybody shoots 10, 23s a game, and you gotta shoot. If you're not shooting 43s, then you're not playing basketball. I understand that that's the world we live in. You look at Dallas, they got 44 3-point attempts. You look at San Antonio, 36 3-point attempts. But you also wanna be incredibly efficient, right? You do. You want to be a very efficient, 3-point shooting team. You don't want to be shooting 30% and taking 43s, especially when you have a guy in Wemby that is literally unstoppable around the rim. Like, nobody's stopping that guy when he has the ball in established position. Good luck. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's why, as always, this is a discussion. And I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? You kind of mixed in the middle. What did you make of the Spurs in their opening night game? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.